This is the Conservative Czar, July 17th, 2017. I'm going to kind of give a little bit of an overview of a 6 month overview of the Trump administration and what is going on. And here's the big thing about it. It is confusing. Not only is it confusing to know what Donald Trump, has really got in plan. I mean his campaign promises, he's trying to tick them off, and he's doing a very good job of that by and large. Uh, but it's very hard to understand what he's thinking about certain things or how he's planning to do things. Uh, and the other side of it is how Congress is going to react, and everybody else is going to react around him, is also confusing. And we've got a whole bunch of 50-50 deals here where it could go one way or the other. It's a very confusing time. And I want to talk about the Donald Trump side of it. I think after 6 months, I think that Donald Trump is just starting to understand the nuances of politics and governing. He's an A1, A plus business leader. And that does translate a lot into government, but not all of it. In fact, probably it translates 30%, 40% into government. The rest of it he's got to learn on the fly. And he's dealing with some real rats, all around him. All the left-wing media, all the media. Forget left-wing media. It's all the media. And then I include in that Fox. I might get into that a little bit in a little bit. But that whole world against him, and he's learning on the job. And it's totally normal. If we're going to have ever elect people from outside of government to govern, there's going to be a learning curve. And it's just a fact of life. And it's not a thing that Donald Trump is doing wrong. When all the press and everybody says, well, you did this wrong. It might not have been perfect, but it's an attempt of a person who's not involved in politics to do things, and he is going to go in areas that are different and probably would have been a better idea to go somewhere else, but that's not on him. Okay, that's not on him. And another big thing that I want to talk about in these 6 months is the fact that the word has been described as the deep state. These are the ideologues left to run government. And we understand that 90% of all government bureaucrats are liberals, especially in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. as a city voted 90% to 10 for Hillary Clinton. Who wants to live in that world? But it's there. That's the bureaucracy left in place. And Donald Trump I still don't think he is. I still don't think he understands that completely. And so he thinks he can work with these people. And remember, maybe month 1 or 6 weeks into the administration, there was this rhetoric that we're in a war and we have to treat it like a war. Well, Donald Trump has not treated it like a war. Donald Trump has kind of taken a policy. I'll just work with the system. Eventually, I'll learn some things. They'll learn some things. These are not all bad people. I can make this work. And I happen to think that was an error. And an error. He should have fought the war. And he didn't. So he is learning on the job. And one of the things that he was not prepared for, and I don't blame him for this. I really don't. He was not prepared for nominating 4,000 people. I don't know what the number is right now, how many he's nominated. These are the positions that the President of the United States can nominate, on his own with the approval, most of them with the approval of the Senate. Brings me on this subject, the second point, and that is that not only is Donald Trump working against the Democrats and the mass media and the media in general, and I'll get to this point in a second. But he's also working against the establishment Republican Party. And these guys are rats. Paul Ryan is a rat. That's all there is to it. McConnell, I'm going to give McConnell a little slack, but he's probably the biggest obstacle to Donald Trump's agenda is Mitch McConnell. And so he's facing all these, learning on the job. I think he's done a pretty spectacular job. I think he's going to have to come to the realization that he has to be much bolder in what he's doing. And one of the bold things that I think needs to be done, I'm giving a suggestion, for example. Right now we have Jeff Sessions running the Justice Department. And what we've learned about that is that's a weak system. Okay, Jeff Sessions wasn't all he was cracked up to be. Okay? He's weak. He's not willing to fight the fight that needs to be fought. The Democrats are willing to fight that fight, but Jeff Sessions isn't. Number two in the Justice Department is Rubenstein, and he is a lifelong apartchik, a lifelong bureaucrat inside the judicial system, a moderate, liberal to moderate. Okay, so these are the two guys running the Justice Department. Rubenstein's the guy that picked Mueller as an independent counsel. One of the greatest mistakes ever made by an assistant attorney general. Third in the list is Rachel Brand. Now, Rachel Brand is where our hope is. Donald Trump, the bold move he needs to make is fire Rubenstein, just get rid of him, put Brand as number two, and tell Sessions, bring Sessions in and tell him this is, you're going to get tougher, and follow Brand's lead. Brand is is our person in the Justice Department. From that would come this a semblance of getting reasonableness in the Justice Department, and we're picking as FBI Director Christopher Wray, and he is an unknown as to what he is going to be like. And I don't like unknowns. Unknowns usually end up to be liberals. And we don't need another Comey at the head of the FBI. But our hope in this whole end is on Rachel Brand, and to the point where she should be Attorney General, where she maybe should be Attorney General. It's a little bit of a lay. Let me finish with one thing about Fox News. Yeah, look, I watch Fox. I don't watch anything else, and guys like Tucker, but even Tucker Carlson does the same thing. And I love Tucker Carlson. He's the best there is right now, by far. But Tucker Carlson does the same thing. It's the gratuitous, he brought it on himself. There's nothing to the Russians, nothing. Oh, but Donald Trump, I'm not agreeing with everything Donald Trump did. It's that line that Carlson throws in all the time. Doesn't explain it, but he throws it in. And that's pervasive throughout the Fox News. And Fox, in my opinion, we are absolutely right for a conservative news channel, and I hope one. I can't believe one hasn't cropped up right now. And Fox isn't it. Fox is a moderate conservative news channel, and we need something better. And this constant, there's nothing to the Russian thing, but. He could have done it. Donald Jr. could have done it better. And we have these absolute idiots, Lindsey Graham, saying that if think about this for a second. Just think about it for a second. And I don't know if Donald Jr. had a position in the campaign. I don't even know that. But the point is, you get a phone call from a United Kingdom, an English newspaper guy. He's a British citizen. And what Lindsey Graham is saying is if you get a call saying, hey, I got some dirt on Hillary Clinton, before you go to that meeting, you got to call the FBI and tell them, I've got a foreign national wanting to give me information about Hillary Clinton. That's Lindsey Graham's position. What his position really is only if the Russians do it. Lindsey Graham is a huge hater of Russia. And that's what he's really saying. But the broad application is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Nothing to the story, and we're constantly apologizing for it. Like you'll say, "Well, it's terrible, terrible. He did nothing wrong. There's no crime, but he should have done it differently." The little thing at the end is always there on Fox News, and it's horrible. It's kind of a summary of where we're at. I hope to be more up to date and talk about some other issues that are in front of us. This is the Conservative Czar. See you next time. How many minutes was that? 10 minutes.